Boys, we're so back. Welcome back for our first video in a while since the Super Bowl, I think. But we're back with a mock draft. It's almost that time, one of the best times of the year, draft season, where hopeless teams can find some hope in their team, such as myself with the Dolphins. So, let's get things started here. I got this mock draft simulator started. With the first pick, we're going to get a little juicy here. We're going to change things up a bit, you know? We're going to go Arvell written to psych, bro. No, we're going Fernando Mendoza. Probably the only lock of this draft. Raiders get their quarterback the future. He's obviously the best quarterback in this draft class. Moving on to the next pick, we got the New York Jets. Now this one, a lot of people are mock drafting Arvell Reese here. And some people are switching it up, giving David Bailey, kind of giving them a more pure pass rusher here. Arvell Reese is kind of more of a project kind of player. He's going to need some time to develop that pass rushing skills. But he also has that ability to play off-ball, a linebacker as well. But if I'm the Jets here, I don't think you have room to experiment with players. I know Arvell Reese is a great talent. But for the Jets here, I'm going to give them David Bailey, the more pure pass rusher. And if you're Aaron Glenn, you don't want to risk too much because your job is on the line this season. Moving on to the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals is a very tricky pick here. I can see them going Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love, Maui Noah. A lot of different options that can go here. I honestly think the number 3 pick is a trade back spot for the Cardinals. They can definitely trade back. Some teams that can trade up could be the Chiefs. I've heard Bengals, but now they trade the number 10 pick away. I don't see the point of them trading back up. But teams like Cleveland, maybe Washington, trying to get players like Arvell Reese and Jeremiah Love. But in this mock draft, I'm not going to do any trades because those are really hard to predict. I'm more so going to project where the players are going to go, what pick. But number 3 pick, Arvell Reese, very tough to pass on him. There's also Maui Noah. He can build that offensive line, help the offense out there for Jacoby Brissett. But I don't think you can pass on Arvell Reese. I think you go Arvell Reese here if you're the Cardinals and invest on the offense in the later picks of this draft. Because there's not many other players like Arvell Reese in the later rounds, of course, obviously. Now, Tennessee Titans with the number 4 pick. Another interesting position here for the Titans. If you're the Titans, you want to invest offensively to help to help Cam Ward out. You're investing a lot in him. He was your number 1 pick last year. I can also see them going defense, but I don't think they're going to go linebacker here or safety. Those would be the only, maybe Ruben Bain, but I don't see it. I think there's been a lot of chatter of Jeremiah Love going over here in this spot. I think it all depends on what the Cardinals do with the number 3 pick. Because if Arvell Reese slides to 4, I think the Titans get Arvell Reese, and then Jeremiah Love probably falls back to the Commanders. So a lot of moving parts here, but if this is a scenario, I would go Jeremiah Love for the Titans. That gives him another weapon for Cam Ward, some distract defense, another weapon to distract the defenses. But I think you can also get a receiver and invest in the offensive line in the 2nd and 3rd round of this draft as well. There's plenty of depth in those positions. Now, for the Giants, the first of 2 first-round picks. Huge for the Titans. The Bengals traded away their number 10 overall draft pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. So, without looking at the board, you would think that the Giants would want to invest on offense to help Jackson Dart out, but there's so much defensive talent in this draft. I can see them maybe going Maui Noah, but there's been a lot of chatter with them and Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles, and they have an opportunity to get both those players. So that'll be a huge. John Harbaugh loves his safeties. He loves his strong linebackers. So in this case, I think they're going to go with the other Ohio State linebacker here in Sonny Styles with number 5 pick. Moving on to Cleveland. There's been a lot of chatter of Caden Proctor being selected with the 6th overall draft pick. I don't know. They definitely need offensive line. I mean, Manoa is still there on the board. They could definitely use the help. I mean, they're rebuilding the offensive line almost completely. But they also need weapons, too. So here, I don't know if they'll go. It's either Manoa or a Cornell Tate, or there's a lot of chatter of Jordan Tyson sneaking into the top 10. But in this mock draft, I am going to go with Cornell Tate to the Browns to help secure one of the best receivers in this draft class. Moving on to the Commanders, they can go a lot of different areas here. You got Manoa to help invest in the offensive line. You got Ruben Bain, who I think should go in the top 10. But they also got Mansour Delane because they got rid of Lattimore. So the secondary is definitely going to need some help. But for the Commanders in this pick, I am going to go with Manoa. Try to rebuild that offensive line to help your young quarterback there in Jaden Daniels, who got hurt last season. That's a scary thing to see. I mean, their season kind of fell apart. You want to try to build from the interior and build out. That'll be my rebuild philosophy anyways. Next pick, we got the New Orleans Saints. They really need some help defensively or add another weapon offensively here for them. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to add Jordan Tyson. There's been a lot of chat or a Malachi Lemon. Or not Malachi, Makai Lemon. They could definitely go offense. I was originally thinking Mansour Delane. I think that would be huge for the Saints, whose secondary could use some help. I'm very tempted. Dude, I'm between right now Delane, Lemon, and Jordan Tyson. Because of all the chatter we've heard on Jordan Tyson sticking the top 10, I'm going to go with Jordan Tyson going to the Saints here at number 9. Yes, number 9. So give me Jordan Tyson, or number 8 actually. Next pick, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're in a prime position in which they'll probably never get this draft pick ever again. With as long as Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback. You got Ruben Bain, Caleb Down, Mansour Delane. I can see these three being an option as well as Spencer Fanu. They really need a tackle, some new corners, because they completely got rid of almost all their corners. At least their starting corners. And they need another edge rusher. But I think Ruben Bain is too good to keep falling. So I'm going to go Ruben Bain to the Kansas City Chiefs here. Add another pass rusher there for this Chiefs defense. Now for this number 10. So number 10 pick to the Giants. I think it's a no-brainer. It'll be Caleb Downs. A lot of chatter of Caleb Downs to the Giants. Now for the number 11 pick, as a Dolphins fan, my number 1 pick I want in this position is Caleb Downs. And with the Giants trading up to that number 10 pick, I think that gave us the little hope we had for Caleb Downs. It's like pretty much completely gone. So, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, we got to look at corners, and we got to look at receivers and offensive line. So, looking at who's left on the board, we got Mansour Delane, Spencer Fanu, Makai Lemon, even Kenyon Sadiq could be a sneaky one, but I think we got to go with the number 1 corner here with Mansour Delane with the 11th pick. Our secondary could really use some help. If you look at our depth chart at who we have at corner, not looking too good. It's a rebuild year for us. And just also thinking in the mindset of our GM and our coach, who comes from the Packers. The Packers should not like to draft a whole lot of receivers in the first round, so I'm going to stick with that philosophy here just because that's how I think it's going to be playing out. But moving on, next pick, we got the Dallas Cowboys at the 12th pick. The first out of 2. This spot, I think they go defense for both those picks. So just looking at who they had defensively, you got Jamal McCoy, but I think he's going to fall mostly because of the injury concerns. You got Dylan Thieneman. I've seen some people draft or project Dylan Thieneman to the Cowboys in position, and Kendrick Falk. I feel like these two, Falk and Thieneman, might be too much of a reach for the Cowboys here. I can see this being a trade back position for the Cowboys. Maybe Kenyon Sadiq, but nah, I'm not feeling it here. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm probably going to go Dylan Thieneman. Kind of build up that secondary. They could use some help in that secondary. Might as well get a strong safety here in Dylan Thieneman. Next pick, we got the Los Angeles Rams. And I kind of been projecting this player for the Rams for the longest time, and I think it's going to stay that way. It's going to be Mekhi Lemon here. I mean, I think it would be between him or Kenyon Sadiq, but I think it would be Mekhi Lemon, kind of make that offense more explosive, especially with Matthew Stafford entering the latter half of his career. We never know when he's going to retire. This might be his last year, honestly. I don't know if he announced that yet or not, but give him another weapon. I know Devontae Adams is getting up there in age, and Puka can get banged up every now and then, so might as well add some more depth to that wide receiver room. Now, Baltimore, everyone and their mothers are saying, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. The guard from Penn State. I'm really tempted to, but I see Kenyon Sadiq. I know the Ravens like their tight ends, but they don't have John Harbaugh anymore. I know some of my friends who are Ravens fans are pissed at Mark Andrews and kind of want to get him out of there, even after everything he's done for that team. So we'll see. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq is a really nice pick, but looking at that offensive line, man, they really need some help badly with that offensive line. And you think Lamar Jackson, man, he got banged up last year. You got rid of some guys on the offensive line. You want to bolster up that offensive line, right? That's what makes sense. But the draft doesn't make sense. I'm on Kenyon Sadiq. Got another pass catcher there for Lamar Jackson. I think they can invest in offensive line, maybe in the second and third rounds of this draft. Plenty of depth in that position. They'll figure it out. But Kenyon Sadiq is a really good tight end prospect. We see more and more teams drafting tight ends in the first round, and it's been a huge help for them. Just looking at this past year, you had Warren for the Colts, and you had Loveland for the Bears. Two really huge parts of those teams' offense. Moving on to the Bucs, and because this guard from Penn State fell, I think the Bucs are going to take him, help protect Baker Mayfield. They could really use some help on that offensive line as well. I think this makes sense. A lot of people are looking at defense. That also makes sense, but I say protect your offense, man. Protect your quarterback. Make sure he's safe. I mean, I think that was a huge part of the downfall as the season continued for the Bucs, is not the greatest offensive line, man. I think you got to protect Baker Mayfield. So, yeah, that's where we're going to go there. New York Jets, their second first-round pick. This could be... Oops. What did I do? Oops. I don't know what I did there. All right, this could be Jermon McCoy or a wide receiver. I don't know if... Omar Cooper. A lot of people are saying they like Omar Cooper Jr. here in this position. That'll be good. That'd be a good one. I think they're going to go Jermon McCoy. He's falling in this draft because he didn't participate in the Combine, and he missed all of last year. But the year before that 2024 season, he did ball out. And, there is a risk with drafting him. But if you were the Jets, I know I said you wouldn't want to take a risk if you're Aaron Glenn, but he's a good talent. He's a really good talent, and I think he could have been the best corner in this draft if he stayed healthy. So we'll see what happens. I think they'll take a risk here later in the draft. Yeah, moving on to the Lions. You're looking at edge rusher and offensive line, maybe corner, but not now that Jermon McCoy is gone. I think you're mostly looking at... You're probably looking at offensive line. That's the top of the board here. I think it's hard to pass on Caden Proctor here for the Lions. He could play tackle or guard. And I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Caden Proctor here to the Lions. Next, you got the Vikings. Now, this is a very interesting position for them to be in. It's been a lot of Dylan Thieneman at this position or corner. And now I don't see any really corners you take in this position. Dylan Thieneman is gone. Maybe they'll go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. That'd be another spot for them. Or trading back. I think trading back is honestly the most realistic option here for the Vikings with what's left on the board. I think the next corner they have here is Avion Terrell. I don't know if they reach that far for him. For safety, it could be Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Those two are the only realistic options I see here. Or you know what? They got a young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. They just signed Kyler Murray You got to protect those two guys. I know J.J. McCarthy got beaten up last year. Why not go offensive line here? I'm going to give them Spencer Fano, who could play tackle or could play guard for this Minnesota Viking team. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to go for the Vikings, just because of the... I'm going to kind of go best player available for them. Next, we got the Panthers. I would go Kenyon Sadiq if he was still on the board, but now that he's off the board, the Carolina Panthers, they could go Monroe Freeling. I know their left tackle, he got hurt last, I think during the playoffs, really. He might miss a significant part of this next season. So I'm going to go Monroe Freeling or get him another pass catcher here for Bryce Young. There's a lot of hype coming up for Kevin Concepcion. I think I'm going to go with them, the receiver out of Texas A&M. Give Bryce Young another pass catcher here for this Carolina Panthers offense. Now, for this other pick for the Dallas Cowboys, I think it has to be defensive line. I don't know, it would be a defensive tackle. Maybe looking at the edge rushers. Kendrick Falk is still on the board. I think that's hard to pass up on if you're the Cowboys. Get another pass rusher there to bolster up that defense. I think that makes perfect sense here. Give me Kendrick Falk for the Cowboys. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think their needs are offensive line, of course, and the secondary. And I saw Avion Terrell here. I think he'll be a good fit for this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So that's where I'm going to go here for the Steelers. For the Chargers, they could use interior offensive line here, because Justin Herbert got beaten up big time in that playoff game. It's a huge part of why they lost. And I know they got really good tackles, Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, but they both got banged up, so they definitely could use more depth. And Mekhi Becton didn't really work out for them this last season. So I see a guy in Chase Viscontis. I think he's a really good guard, and he's definitely going to go in the first round. So I'm going to give the Chargers another pass blocker here to kind of help bolster up that offensive line. Now for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they go in a similar direction here. I think they're looking more at tackle. They could use some more depth on the offensive line. And they see a guy like Blake Miller. I think that Blake Miller would be a good fit for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they could use more protection there. I know they could also go corner, but they just signed the guy from Seattle. So I don't know if they'll be drafting another corner. Because I think with that move, they're going to push Cooper Jean back to safety or put him at the nickel. But if that's the case, I'm going to go Blake Miller here for the Eagles. Now, for the Cleveland Browns, their second pick in this first round. It's hard to pass on Monroe Freeling. I think he'll be a perfect fit. That pick is definitely going to be offensive line if they didn't go offensive line with their first pick. Rebuilding offensive line, Monroe Freeling is to be a good left tackle for them for the Cleveland Browns. Now for the Bears, they're going to look at anything defensive line. They're going to look at anything in the secondary as well. So for the Bears, I have only offensive tackle. Let's see who's left on the board. I think Akeem Mesidor would be a great pickup because you put him in the outside, you can slide him inside if you need. The only problem with Mesidor, he is an older prospect. I think he's 25 now. So by the time his rookie contract runs out, he could be 29. So that's kind of insane. But he was a great talent for Miami, huge part of that success for that defense. I think that's where I'm going to go for the Bears. He's versatile. He needs kind of less development as he's older. And I think he can be versatile on that defensive line. Now for the Buffalo Bills, a lot of people are going edge rusher here for them, but they just signed Bradley Chubb. I don't know if they have Joey Bosa still. But I think a good fit for them, they definitely need a linebacker or a safety. And it's not because I just saw Emmanuel McNeil there. But I think that'd be a great fit for this Bills defense. I think they're definitely looking at something defensively. I mean, they also got a Mark Cooper Jr. That could be another option for them. Or a TJ Parker or Peter Woods. But I think the one that helped the defense out the most is a smart, hard-hitting safety in Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here at pick 26. Now for pick 27 for the San Francisco 49ers. The future of Trent Williams is uncertain, so they can definitely go offensive tackle. They could use another pass rusher. Then you could use another linebacker. Those are the three positions I think they'll look at. Maybe a wide receiver, because Omar Cooper Jr. is still there. But you got guys like Caleb Long there as well. TJ Parker. I think TJ Parker would be a great move there for the 49ers. Got Max. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name either. I think this guy has high upside. The tackle out of Arizona State. I think it'd be a good fit. I think that's a player that San Fran can use. Just investing in the offensive line to help protect Brock Purdy. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the tackle from Arizona State here. Now, Houston, Texas. Every one of their mothers know that they need an offensive line. More specifically, the interior offensive line, guard, center. They do. They still have Pregnon on the board here. But what I thought was interesting is they got a strong defense, especially strong defensive line. And why not make it stronger by taking that big block of a defensive tackle in Caleb McDonald out of Ohio State, a big part of that defense as well. Bolster up that defensive line, make that defense even stronger. And I think you can look at offensive line in the second round as well. I mean, I think this draft has plenty of talent in that offensive line, especially a tackle and guard. So yeah. Kansas City Chiefs, they took Ruben Bain with their first round pick. I think they definitely got to look at tackle. They could definitely use a right tackle here. I'm looking at Caleb Lomu. They can maybe get another pass catcher in Omar Cooper Jr., but I think they already got plenty of pass catchers there now that they announced that Rashee Rice is not going to get suspended. Whether that's deserving or not, I don't know. That's just the situation that NFL announced. They can also look at Colton Hood, at cornerback out of Tennessee. They definitely need some cornerback help. I think they go Chris Johnson. Very physical corner out of San Diego. Good size, good build. This Kansas City Chiefs could definitely use a corner, especially since they got rid of McDuffie and I think it was Watson's the other corner. But they definitely got to put someone there, especially on a cheap rookie contract. I think that'll be a good fit there for Kansas City. Now we got Miami. Now for Miami, if this is the board, I think it's a no-brainer that they take Omar Cooper Jr. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he falls this far in the draft. But if this happened, I'll be so happy. You get Mansour Delane and Omar Cooper Jr., two very good skilled players there to fill in some of the holes that the team has. I mean, there's a lot more that needs to be filled. Pause. But if that's the situation, I'll be happy. New England. If I'm New England, I'm looking at guard. Or maybe tackle and putting Will Campbell in guard, maybe. But I'm also looking at maybe edge rushers as well, or a pass catcher. Denzel Boston is still on the board. I think that'd be a good wide receiver there for the New England Patriots, who lost Stephon Diggs, and now I can't even think who their top wide receiver is right now. But you also got TJ Parker. It'd be tough if he leaves. I don't know if he leaves first round or not. But in this situation, I am going to go Denzel Boston to the Patriots. Give your young quarterback in Drake May a pass catcher that's going to help him out. Because I think it was honestly, that wasn't huge, or not the biggest reason. I mean, the offensive line was a big reason why they lost the Super Bowl. But I also think another part was receivers couldn't get open. So give him a big build receiver there, and Denzel Boston might help him out as well. Now, if I'm Seattle, it's edge rushers and corners as well. TJ Parker, Colton Hood. I know Zion Young's still on the board. Malachi Lawrence still on the board too. These three names are, and you got Jadarian Price. Imagine two running backs in the same team drafted in the first round. I don't think that ever happened before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know down below. But in this case, I think you go in a young edge rush prospect in TJ Parker. Mostly because DeMarcus Lawrence, he almost retired this year. So he's probably, he doesn't have a lot of years left. So you're looking at players to replace him. I'm gonna go with T.J. Parker. I think he's getting a little underrated now. A lot of people are kind of making him fall down the draft, and I think it's at a point where he's getting overlooked a little bit. So that's my mock draft. So here's the full draft, in case you missed it or skipped all the way to the end. Yes, sir. These are the picks. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment down below who you think is gonna get drafted. Who do you think is gonna fall down the boards? What is your mock draft looking like a little bit? If you agree or disagree with my picks, let me down below. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up in this video. I know we haven't posted in a while. Things got busy and not a lot of news going on in the NFL recently, but you know, it's one of my favorite times of year, NFL draft. You see all these kids coming out of college and making their dreams come true, entering the NFLs and kind of giving hope to the teams that suck. You know, if you're fans of teams like the Jets, Raiders, and Cardinals, this is one of the only times of year that gives your team hope. So enjoy it, and let me know what you guys think down below. Stay tuned for more NFL content. We're going to start ramping up on the content, going back to our off-season program here. We're going to start going over each team and how they look now after the off-season, where they project, and things like that. So stay tuned for that stuff. Comment down below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.